Are you interested in going to Special Forces assessment and selection? Are you ready to attend and actually pass selection, get selected, move on to the Q course so you can get to one of the operational groups? If there's any delay or any hint of hesitation in your answer, more than likely you're not. And this is why I come in, guys. If you check out the links below, I have a link to my Patreon, which has a variety of prep courses on there geared towards helping you prep so you could attend and get selected. It's a small price to pay to live a life of either fulfillment or a life of regret. All right? I'll see you guys over at the Patreon. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to do a video about all the schools that I've failed. Why am I sharing this with you? Guys, nowadays, as a Special Forces guy, we are expected to be, superhero-like human beings. But at the end of the day, we are human just like you and everyone else that's walking around. So with all that, you have to understand that we all make mistakes. We all fail from time to time. And one of the places that we often fail is when we go to these military type schools. Now, I'm talking about schools that's within special operations, and there are schools in Big Army that we have the opportunity to go to. Now, some of those schools include Jumpmaster, Pathfinder, Airborne School, so on and so forth. I know firsthand as a Special Forces operator, when you go to some of these schools and you're around conventional soldiers, they look at you a certain way, as if you know it all and you can pass it all. Now, when you fail a school that you're expected to pass, it can be detrimental. It can be defeating. I know this firsthand. So I wanted to make a video and share with you some of the schools that I've failed over my, Special Forces career and how I was able to get over them. And I'm also going to throw a bonus in there and talk about one of the most fulfilling schools that I've ever had the chance of not only going to, but passing. Now, when it comes to Special Forces operators, you have to understand that we are not all created equal. I've known guys that have gotten on the Commandant list or honor grad in every single military school that they've been to. I'm talking about the smartest dudes that you could think of. They're book smart. They're really good at studying and retaining information and writing it back down. I know a bunch of those dudes. But on the other spectrum, I've known guys that barely pass, every military school that they've been to. I'm talking about 70%, the basic military standards. And then I also know dudes that fail every single military schools that they've been to. But at the end of the day, you put those guys together and they're some of the best operators that I know. With all that said, guys, let's jump right into some of the schools that I failed over my military career. So the very first one for me was Pathfinder. I remember it was 2010. I just got in the group. The group was forward deployed to Afghanistan, and I was at group headquarters. I was there for approximately 3 months prior to getting on a space safe flight en route to Afghanistan. Now, while I was there, the first one at the time, he came to me. He was like, "Hey, you're sitting around. You're not doing much. We just had a slot open up for Pathfinder. Do you want to go?" I was like, "Sure, man. I'm not doing anything anyway." So I packed up my shit. I head down to Fort Benning and I attended Pathfinder. Pathfinder is one of those courses that you have to not only study, retain, but you also got to be able to write all that stuff down and identify certain parts. So I go there, I studied as much as I can. And when I say study, there's a lot of study at Pathfinder, right? And I made it all the way up to, I want to say it's the JMPI part of it, where you got a JMPI, a bunch of different loads. I want to say it was 3 separate loads that you had to JMPI prior to getting it out there for a sling load. And I failed the JMPI, not once, but twice, right? And this is my very first school in Special Forces, guys. Now, once I got done with my counseling, they told me what I did wrong. And then I, got my paperwork saying I was discharged from the course. I had the long drive home from Fort Benning all the way back to Fort Bragg. And again, I went into this pretty arrogant because my thought process was I'm a 18 Charlie. I'm, cream of the crop. I'm around all these conventional dudes that are just around me 24/7 asking questions, and they looked up to me and they're going on with the course and I just failed. Now, talk about defeating. And what I realized at that point was I'm still a human being. I'm still the same person that I was before. Yeah, certain things change, but I'm still susceptible to failure. That failure stuck with me, I would say, for the next 5 or 6 years as I went on my military career. Once I got back to brag, got made fun of a little bit, but it was what it was. I had tough skin. I just owned it, right? Hey, I messed up. I thought I was good to go, but I wasn't. Like, I thought I was hot shit, but I wasn't. And then got on the bird and deployed and linked up with my team down in Afghanistan, right? It was what it was. So that was the first one, guys. The second one for me was Ranger School. So Ranger School was a funny one because I went initially as a new guy, right? I just got into my team, and on that team, it was one of those things that Ranger School, you just had to go get it. And in the spirit of honesty, I didn't want to be there. So I went, they did the inventory. I didn't have the right camelback I was supposed to have. I had a, SF light camelback. They wanted big army light camelback. They had numbers to make. They dropped me. No freaking hurt feelings over that one because it was one of those things. The team was getting ready to deploy. I had to go to this school. So I went, got dropped, and I came back, and I was able to deploy with my team. So that one, no hurt feelings about at all because I didn't want to go. It was one of those things that I had to do because I was a new guy. So I went, checked off that block, and then I was left alone at that point, right? So no hurt feelings over that school at all. So fast forward, guys, to 2014. I'm in this course that we run called Level 3. If you know, you know. I'm not going to go into too much details with that course. So that course was approximately 4.5 months long, and I got 4 months knocked out in 2 weeks, and I had 2 weeks left to go on the final exercise prior to being done with that course, all right? And with 2 weeks left, I ended up getting dropped. And that one was another crushing blow for me. And after failing this one, guys, I started to realize one thing. The more I focus on not failing, the more I ended up failing. So I think with me, it was a mental thing. Like, I was trying so hard not to fail that all I thought about was failing certain tasks. And sure enough, the universe gave me exactly what I was thinking about, and I ended up failing those courses, right? Once I realized that and I switched that up and I started to approach every course day by day and kind of just had fun with it, I was fine. I essentially had to figure out how to conquer my mind and letting it know that, hey, you're not in charge here. Quit thinking about failing and just show up to these courses and have a good time. Because at the end of the day, as long as you're taking in and retaining information, you're good to go. And that's what I started doing, guys, in all the courses that I've been to afterwards. Pretty much worked out exactly like I had planned. So I think for the previous courses, it was just a matter of self-sabotaging, right? Not being able to get out of my own head. So now fast forward to one of the most fulfilling courses that I've ever had to pass, right? So I'm in SWIC 2018. At that point, I've done all the courses that I needed to get promoted to E8 because in the regiment, there's certain, blocks that you have to check. You got to make sure you have jump master. You got to have 1 specialty schools and a bunch of other stuff. So when you go to the board, you're compatible, right? So I've done all that and I got picked up for E8. However, that year, the Army decided to come out with the Master's Leader course. And if you guys aren't familiar with that course, it's a non-commissioned officer professional development course. And I came out on the list in June. My sequence number was pretty low, so I had to go literally in 2 months to Master's Leader course. And that course within itself is a beast, guys. I'm talking about just memorizing stuff and writing shit all over the place, which that wasn't the most challenging part for me. The most challenging part for me, believe it or not, was being able to crush the PT test, all right? And this is why it was challenging for me because I'm not a runner. I've never been, and I never will be. So once I hit SWIC, like I would maintain a certain level of cardio, but I was in the gym and I was lifting all sorts of heavy shit. I got freaking huge. I'm talking about Ronnie Coleman big, right? And that's fine because that's the type of, guy that I was. I've always been a lifter, bodybuilder type. So that's what I was doing. And I was still running every week, but it wasn't like I was supposed to. Because I'm figuring, hey, I'm a SWIC. I'm going to get as big as I can. As long as I can, keep up with some of these students as far as the run goes, I'm good to go. But when I got word that I was going to Master Leader course, I started to sweat bullets. I'm like, shit, I only have like 5 weeks to prepare for this PT test. So I was like, all right, bet. Here's what I'm going to do. So as soon as I got the news that I was going, I completely stopped lifting and I went onto a cardio heavy workout. I was running every day, long distance, and then I was doing short runs on the track because I knew my body type and I knew how to lose the muscle weight and increase the cardio speed. So that's what I did for 5 weeks, guys. And I took the PT test, I crushed it, and I've never been so accomplished in my entire life. I remember sitting in my car and speaking to myself and saying, fuck yeah, give me my fucking team, right? Give me my ODA, because it was one of those things that I had to pass that school in order to get promoted to E8 so I can get my team. And that's what every enlisted SF guy wants to be, is that team sergeant. So once I, passed that gate and I checked off that block, I knew I was on my way to becoming a team sergeant. That was by far the most fulfilling feeling that I've had in a while, guys. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here, share these with you, expose some of my failures, and hope that you learn something from them. And most of all, just let you know that, hey, you're not alone, man. Like, the best of us fail at some of these military schools. It is what it is, right? Unless you're one of those brainiacs, trust me, those buddies that you have around you, they fell at one point in time too, right? It's a matter of learning from it and understanding that we're human beings, will make mistakes, and just keep it pushing. Don't let it defeat you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you want to share as far as some of the schools that you fail and some of the demoralizing defeat that you faced throughout your military career, leave it in the comment section below, guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.